Alright, so wanted to show you guys. This is the dematting tool. Looks kind of scary, but it's got serrated blades, and that's what cuts up the mats. Then I use just a comb. I always use the wide tooth side of it, and then I have slicker brush, which is my kind of primary thing. So Burton's collar is like, around his collar, super matted right now, to the point that I was not sure if I was going to be able to save it without getting him cut, which would be really traumatizing. But it looks like we're making progress. I kind of did like from here to here, if you can see it. I don't know what you can see and what you can't see. We did from like here to here, and that worked, so I've got to keep going around. But he's got just clumps in here. So figured since I'm doing it, I would show you guys how I do it. So with this, I really just start here. Try not to take too big of a clump, but I just slide it in there, and basically it's a sawing motion, but it gets in there and it takes bigger clumps and it breaks them into smaller clumps. A lot of times I use this on just like isolated mats, like, you know, that like dreadlock in their tail or something. That would be easy to kind of isolate and attack. But I do this a bunch of times, and you can feel it start to open up a little bit. It's kind of a slow process, but it allows you to break these up without just having to cut them out. And while he doesn't like the brush or the comb all the time, for whatever reason, he doesn't mind this. So I just keep doing the same area if it's bad over and over and over. I've seen other techniques where they kind of hack it, the area, but that scares me. So whatever, this is a little slower, it is. This is definitely getting easier, and you can see there is some fur in here. So it's pulling some of that out, and then it's also breaking the rest up. And you can see it starting to free up some of this stuff. So I'd probably do it a little bit more. We're getting there. But then usually if I can, I'd come in and then follow up with like line brushing with this. So real slow, just taking a little bit. So yeah, and the line brushing again is to like basically push the hair forward. And let me angle this down a little bit. So you push the hair forward so you can see the roots, and you just grab just the tiniest, you just advance very, very slowly. And it grabs just a little bit at a time. And you can feel, well, I'm sure you guys know, you can feel with the brush if it's kind of hanging up on stuff or not. So here's what I just got out with the brush after the dematting tool. All right, so once you break it up, the brush comes in and it pulls out all that loose stuff. And usually takes a couple passes. Sometimes I'll find some like little mats that are still in there. So here's the second pass. And I try to clear out the brush using the comb. It's easy enough because it goes through the fur better. But you can feel now that it's not matted. It's, you know, which brings up another good point that we had talked about with the comb. The comb, so here's the third pass, so there's still stuff coming out. The comb is like a great gauge on if you're good or not. So I've done in here, so hopefully it's okay. So like the comb, yeah, see, it's still hanging up a little bit, but the comb can sort of go through this area without getting hung up. This probably isn't like the best example, but yeah, there you go. So you can see the comb is going through some of this area without getting hung up, whereas like an area that I haven't done yet, if I tried to do here, it would just immediately get stuck. It's not going through anything yet. So it immediately snags on anything. Where, again, this one pulls through partially. Of course, I'm only made a small dent so far. And I use the comb to follow the dematting tool sometimes, but the brush works a lot better. So there we go. His collar area is starting to open up. Of course, the harder to reach areas underneath are going to be a challenge. He has some big clumps under here. But anyway, figured I'd show you guys. It's a really useful tool for me to not have to actually cut mats out. All right, I'll talk to you later.